to Jurassic Park.
Hey, it's Jurassic Dominion, and oh, I cannot wait for that nail to finally seal this creatively bankrupt coffin. Film begin, and there's a movie screen, and there's a guy with his wife in a pickup. With her boyfriend! Oh, he's gonna love watching that in a cuck shed later, but holy ships, there's a T-Rex rolling up out of nowhere, and there's some guys in a helicopter trying to make it go nap time. Scene transmission, and here's a news report explaining the entire story that those dinosaurs in the last film escaped that island somehow and have infested the entire world. And oh, also, they're still looking for that clone kid for reasons, so obviously that's going to be part of the plot. We're transferring, and there's a warehouse with a bunch of vegans who are totally angry about those dinosaur kids in cages, but obviously not when Obama was doing it because obviously he was an orange. So anyway, they start dino napping, but look out! There's a bunch of hillbillies in their pickups coming to make them ye their last whore. But oh, that guy has a gun! And look, there's a bunch of Liz Cheney rhinosaurs. But don't worry though, they escape very easily. There's Flip because it's Christmas pie, and he's on horseback chasing those Pokemon. Because obviously he's going to capture one. And then he does. But it's like 10 times the fucking size of him. So then he starts sliding around, and then there's a tree stub that somehow holds the entire weight of that like 18-wheeler truck. So Christmas Pie does that hand thingy saying, stop, and the dinosaur understands it because of reasons. They're not taking it out for a walk, but it's the feds! Wait a minute, they're fake feds, so time to get your guns out, boys. But this is so scary. And then Christmas Pie just goes, you know what, take the dinosaur because I have much bigger obligations. And that big obligation is Clone Girl, who he's trying to keep hidden from those evil guys. And now they're shaving sticks outside, but there's the hillbilly from earlier, who's somehow found out where he lives, and then in the dark notices Clone Girl, so gives some random person a call saying, I found the Clone Girl. Scene transmission, and oh my god, there's a tornado of crickets out there, so those kids better get the fuck in that barn. Oh, it's really big and scary. And now, like, someone's turning up. It's Karen from the original films. And also that bitch from Star Wars. It turns out she's investigating all those crickets and is totally shook because it's eating all their crops, but not one specific type of crop, which we'll get into in a minute. We need to go because Sammy Boy, he was in the original films, remember, is saying how amazing the T-Rex was and they're digging for dinosaurs. And then these little shits, who have never had the belt to the arse because they're taking the piss out of him, obviously just being complete dicks, and it's really not cool. Anyway, so he gets called away, and look, Karen teleported there, like out of nowhere. So they have a big old catch up, and it turns out she got divorced from her husband, and absolutely no wonder why that happened. Anyway, so Sam knows that there's actually some kind of ulterior motive about this meeting, and then obviously goes, well, what the hell do you want? So she whips out her hard throbbing cricket and says that they're eating all the crops, but not Biosyn seeds, because obviously they want to control the world's food supply, and they need to stop them. So pretty much just spanning out the entire plot to the dumbass audience. But Sam ain't convinced though and says, you know what, you're chatting shit. And then also says, how do you know all this? Have you been watching Alex Jones? And she actually hasn't, because she whips out her book and look, it's Goldie Boy, because he was also in the original films and he works at Biosyn Seed. And it says, do you want to come hang out with him? And he's like, yeah, okay, we'll go hang out. Back to Clone Kid, and stop right there! There's a velociraptor that for some reason doesn't kill her to death, so she gives it some food. And look, there's another one! And that one's totally gonna kill her! And then Christmas Pie literally turns up out of absolutely nowhere, I mean seriously, nowhere, and then does that hand thingy. And it knew not to do that murder. So the only logical thing you could do at the moment is go chase it into the woods, while Clone Kid goes back to their house. And, well, wait, no she's not, because she walks right through that house for reasons to get on her bike, even though she literally just got being killed by that velociraptor, and then tells vegan mum to absolutely do one, because obviously she's got attitude. But, she's been caught by the bad guys, because remember, they knew where her were because of that hillbilly guy. Christmas Pie and vegan mum are totally shook to shit about this, so they go see their friend, who works for the Dangerous Species Department, to figure out a plan on how to get their clone back. And then somehow, this guy has the entire database of criminals on his iPad. Look, he manages to find that poacher who stole his kid. Like, literally with no information. They don't know his name or anything, and they manage to locate him. Oh, this is amazing. Anyway, so he goes, well, I can't really help you any more than that, but they're going to Malta, so of course. Anyway, soon transmission, and hey, Team Dino have landed. And there's Tim Cook, and he rolls up kissing their asses because they were in the original films, obviously. And he's explaining that they're doing some science with dino DNA and all that. But, he's really a busy man. So he straight up just says, you know what, smell you later, I've got to go off, have fun. Holy ships, it's Goldie Boy, and he's doing a lecture about how all those young people in that room hold the future of the planet in their hands. Which is meant to be inspirational, when actually it's quite frightening considering you can't run a country on TikTok dances and communism. But, look who's turning up, guys. It's the other original cast. Big reunion right here. It's lecture finish time, and Karen is telling Goldie those crickets are bad dudes, and that Tim Cook's behind it. So Goldie goes like full spy thingy, telling her that Apple are actually trying to take over the world with virtue signaling, while literally having links to slave labor and suicide factories in China. And then says to her, like, you know, I know where the crickets are in this research unit. They're on like level 4. Don't tell anyone I told you that. Oh, big mysterious. James Bond right there, guys. Flip-flop, and Tim Cook is also getting told that those crickets are bad dudes by this guy, and that they should totally stop being bad, or really bad consequences will be coming their way. But obviously, Tim doesn't listen to minorities with concerns about ethical behaviour, and tells him that they've actually found the clone kid alongside that mini velociraptor from earlier, because that big velociraptor gave birth to it naturally, so like, you know, life found a way or something. We've got to go already, because we're going to Malta where Clone Kid currently is. And here's a virtuous lady. Oh, who would have guessed? And I'm sure she will actually become useful later in the plot, because she won't stop staring at Clone Kid. But what the ships? Christmas Pie also teleported to Malta. Obviously, he got his plane ticket, got his bags ready, got the hotels booked and everything. Oh, and also, here's his friend who just turns up out of nowhere and says that there's actually a big underground dino market. So, obviously, they go off and into the underground market, and there's the virtuous lady too. And it turns out she's a smuggler. So she goes, guys, I need to go for a piss. And then goes off for a piss, and would you believe it? There's Vegan Mum. So they start talking, and Vegan Mum says, have you seen this girl? And oh my god, virtuous smuggler saw her earlier. And that's an amazing coincidence. Like the first freaking person you asked knew it. What's going on outside? Funny you should ask that, because it's Christmas Pie with a bunch of guys with guns, and they're tracking that fake-fed poacher hillbilly guy from earlier, who they found very easily, may I add. The feds go, right, let's go arrest him, and they're like, freeze you dino smuggling turd monsters, but like shit they're gonna freeze, because they also have guns, so it's a big firefighting scene. So Christmas Pie is now chasing Poacher Man, because obviously he didn't die in a crossfire, and look out, they're now fighting, and there's some bigger dinosaurs that just rolled up out of nowhere too. So Christmas Pie just goes bam right in that guy's face, and then these dino dogs obviously help, and he goes, where's Clone Girl? And then the guy goes, oh, Clone Girl, she's in Italy at Biosyn Seed. So he's like, oh, that was very easy. And then he straight up dies, so there's no follow-up questions. Quick check on the feds, and oh no, there's dinosaurs, and they're free. And there's evil female who points a laser dot on them, which obviously means they're going to get dino-deaded, because they're pretty much cats in this film. But what? Oh, there's Vegan Mum. So let's have another chase scene. And then she tases evil female, saying, obviously like, where's Clone Girl? And then evil female tells her exactly where to find Clone Girl. So obviously that was very easy. But there's a dinosaur that just rolls up out of nowhere again, and is totally after Vegan Mum. So let's have another chase scene, and she's really gonna die. Like, really gonna die. Wait, no she isn't, because Virtuous Smuggler saves her with a fan. How convenient, that was easy. And now Virtuous Smuggler is telling Vegan Mum that she'll fly her the fuck out of here. So obviously Vegan Mum radios Christmas Pie, who somehow now has a motorbike with complimentary velociraptors behind it. And then obviously they just meet up at the airport and escape very easily. Scene transmission, and it's the donating with that guy from Archive 81, which is a really good Netflix show, but they cancelled it. And he says, thank you for coming on the tour, you can go like check stuff out by yourself now so that the plot can happen. But what's happening over there though? It's the clone kid who arrived off camera. And there's that guy from earlier who says you're not actually a clone, you're a real girl. So pretty much just retconning the last film. And actually she was birthed by a real woman who's also a really stunning scientist who blogged all the time. So let's watch some videos. And she says she edited her own eggs, and then completely immaculately conceptioned herself, so pretty much ripping off the Bible there. And it's a big reveal. Everyone really gave a shit about that one. So that guy goes I got you here so I could study your chromosomes because they're really, really weird. Well, Dino Team made it to where those crickets are undetected. And their plan is to take some swabs from those crickets, so we have to go into the Cricko crib. But they have to be very careful in case those crickets start to swarm, which obviously they will because they've already mentioned it. Anyway, so here's some wheat and Sam pulls out a fucking frobber of a cricket. But while that's happening, what is Clone Kid doing? She's letting out that velociraptor, and then Tim Cook sees it and then sets off the alarm. So that made those crickets swarm, and how predictable was that? Now they have to escape, and they do that very, very easily. And hey, there's Clone Kid who escaped too, and she was on the exact same level as them. And no one noticed the Dino Team going into the cricket house. Flip-flop, and we have a Christmas pie and a virtuous smuggler, and they're trying to land at the Biosyn seed place by requesting a landing. But obviously, those guys at Biosyn Seed say, you guys can absolutely do one. And then somehow Tim Cook, who got from where he was before all the way to airspace control, knows that the Clone Kid's parents are on that plane. But oh my god, there's some dinosaurs, and it's totally done a terrorism on that plane. So Vegan Mum goes oh no, we're gonna die. And everyone else is like, no, you're really important to the plot, so you get ejected in the only ejector seat on the plane. And now she's in the air, she's completely safe, but there's dinosaurs trying to kill her. Ooh, it's all hitting up because the dino crew are walking around trying to escape, and there's Archive 81 who just rolls up out of nowhere. So they think they're in real trouble. But wait a minute, no they're not, because he's also virtuous and knows that Tim Cook is trying to take over the world, so goes, get in that pod and you can totally escape this base. Well, that was easy, so it's back to Vegan Mum again, and she's landed safely. Wait a minute, there's a dino ostrich, so it wasn't safe after all, and it totally eats that deer for reasons, so she has to be very, very quiet. And then makes a noise, and now that ostrich is totally after her, so she better escape very carefully into that water. And then it completely forgets what it's doing and walks away. Look everyone, that plane that crashed never killed Christmas Pie because obviously he's got plot armor, and now they're on a frozen lake and have to cross it to obviously get to safety. But there's a dinosaur, and oh my god, it can go underwater, so they obviously better get the fuck out there much quicker. Well, obviously they do because there's a convenient elevator, because then obviously the plot gonna happen. So the virtuous pilot pulls out a locator that she had for reasons that tracks the ejector seat because of, again, reasons. I mean, surely you wouldn't have a tracker for your own ejector seat if you pretty much fly solo all the time. I don't get it. Team Dino time, and they're trying to get out of Apple headquarters. And Karen tells that Clone Kid she actually knew her mum. So the Clone Kid goes, wow, you knew my mum? What was she like? And shut that front door! It turns out that she was a super smart and really funny and really stunning scientist. Oh, who would have guessed that when Hollywood obviously are so devoid of ideas when it comes to making women three-dimensional? So they're now in the Batcave and they're trying to escape. But there's something off about that water because there's a dinosaur in it. Let's see what Tim Cook is up to. And he's firing Goldie Boy. So then he does a big speech saying that Apple are actually really evil company and everyone should actually look into it. And then he goes off with Archive 81. But where do they go? To a car park where Goldie totally steals a car, you dingus. Oh god, they're doing that thing where they can't keep to one scene for one bloody minute, so he keeps scooting around between different characters. And obviously, it's Tim Cook with Archive 81, and he's deleting all those emails between Apple and the Democrat Party before Elon Musk buys them and then exposes widespread corruption. So Archive 81 says, everyone knows that you're totally evil and you should just totally stop. But obviously Tim Cook's like, no, I'm evil so I cannot stop. But that was interesting, so let's go to the Dino Team again. And they're escaping the Batcave on a ladder. But they heard a noise, which means there's a dinosaur about, and there it is. And there's another one. So it's returned to Monkey Oonga Boonga time with like sticks and fire and shit. And then somehow they get to the exit because they ran and the dinosaurs didn't chase. I don't get it. Anyway, that gate's locked and they are full on going to die. Like, really gonna die. And then looks who turns up at that precise time. It's Goldie Boy. But he doesn't know the keypad. You know, it's got a code on it, doesn't know it. But RK81 knows it. And he unlocks it remotely. We're with Vegan Mum again, and she's found a flying saucer. But there's something rustling in those bushes. And there's a dinosaur. And she's gonna die. Like, really die. I mean, look at those eyes. That's gonna kill her. Wait, no she doesn't die, because Christmas came early, boys. So what's Tim Cook doing? he's doing a terrorism on those throbbing crickets, so now they're dead and the film can finish. Wait, no it's not, because they're now flaming throbbers escaping out of like the roof somehow. Oh, this film just won't end. So those birdie crickety thingies are big trouble because they're also making Goldie crash onto a ledge, so like they have to be very still or they'll tip the car over. I'm pretty sure I remember that from the first film. But wait, no it does fall over, and that door needs to be shut because it falls directly where Vegan Mum is. That's amazing! Whoever wrote that part is definitely on Shakespeare level. Now they're having a big reunion and soft music is playing in the background because everyone really cares. But what the shit is a Gigachatosaurus coming, and then they totally say like don't move, and then it roars, so then they move, and now it's looking around really like meanly and totally finds them, so very slowly walks towards them, like very very slowly, not like predatory at all. But how will they escape? Well, up that ladder into that spaceship. Look everyone, Goldie's doing that exact same thing he did in the first film, and it's going to save everyone by eating that fire stick right into its mouth big time. So obviously, they're now in the flying saucer, and that dinosaur is still outside. But it has a degree in the plot gotta happen somehow ology, and smashes that window. But Virtuous Smuggler somehow gets a tranquilizer gun and shoots it, so obviously it's going to go for nap time. They all agree that this is a dinosaurus disaster, and instinctively know that they need to go turn on the anti-air defense system so that those pterodactyls don't escape, because Virtuous Smuggler somehow knew about it. And I mean, literally, somehow she knows about this sort of stuff. So, how will they do this? Fire control room 3, of course, because they had the blueprints just conveniently hanging around. Hey, Tim Cook has that can from the last film, and then tells Archive 81 that they're gonna go escape and then do all of this all over again. But Archive 81 ain't gonna do shit, and Tim Cook now knows full well that it was him who kept leaking all those Dino Cricket iPhone designs. So he's totally angry and shook and tells him to piss off. How's it going with Vegan Mum? Well, they're already in the control room somehow and works out that it's the same security system as the park that she worked in. But she needs help getting the codes because obviously it's protected. And obviously they have no idea. They've got no idea how to get these codes. Oh wait, sorry, Archive 81 just rolls up out of nowhere again and he knows things. Back to Tim Cook, and he's all alone trying to escape those dinosaurs, which obviously means he's going to get dino-deaded because it's obvious. So let's flip back to Vegan Mum again, and she's dodging all those bugs that the World Economic Forum wants us to eat. So then they do some system stuff, but what the hell? It's like rebooting, and it shouldn't be rebooting. And then all those crickets are alive again, like flying around. So Vegan Mum starts hitting some control panel with an axe. And then Karen does it instead because she spoke to the manager, and it works, and now the air defense system is up and running. Check-in time with Tim Cook, and he's using his iPhone to navigate. And it's that dinosaur they're rehashing from the first film because they're devoid of ideas. And he gets back on the capsule, and look, he gets Bukaki to death, and how can you not see that one coming? Let's return, and the Dino team have all met up. And then that guy rolls up too, out of nowhere, and hey, so does Archive 81, because obviously he keeps turning up all the time. And that guy says he can actually reverse all of this cricket stuff if he could just study that clone or something. And then the Virtuous Smuggler got a helicopter somehow, and she knows how to fly that exact model. She's licensed for everything. So she lands, and hey guys, look over there, here's another rehashing. It's a Gigasaurus Rex, and it's fight time with a Gigachatosaurus. Oh, how convenient that is happening right now in this precise location when they're trying to escape. But look, there's even more dinosaurs. But obviously they get away in a helicopter very easy because why not? It takes less effort. Anyway, after this bit there's nothing important, so let's call it film finished. It's over, and hopefully for God's sake that's forever over and not like rebooted again.
Subscribe button.